Hello and welcome to what I think is episode 5 of Ross Meets. Oh, I'm so excited for this one. This week's episode is NANO BEY, and NANO BEY is one of the most interesting characters that I think I've interviewed so far. She was just fabulous in every single sense of the word. What a wonderful character. I wrote down on the socials and in the kind of preparation for this interview that I've never seen Nano look the same in any photo. She literally looks completely different in every photo that she's taken in. She looks completely different. She's all about the reinvention vibes, which I absolutely adore. If you know me, you know I love reinvention and really, characterizing yourself and changing yourself and being able to change yourself and just fit into any mold and fit into any kind of personality that's given to you. I absolutely love that. That is the making of a great artist, and that is everything that NANO BEY is. She's so early on in her career, in terms of posting stuff on streaming services, but she is absolute. She's just got such a good way of doing it and such great knowledge already on how she should be doing it and how she should be marketing herself for such a young artist is just brilliant. And one of the things that struck me was she's been everywhere. She's been all over the world, looking into different cultures and different experiences, and she's been everywhere, Berlin, Tokyo, everywhere. She's been all across the world. She's a real globe trotter, and yeah, you can really see that come through her music. She's also in so many different genres of music, and she's so multi-talented and multifaceted in that way. Rapping, songwriting, lyricism, all that kind of stuff. She just absolutely smashes out the park, and I was just so glad to meet her. I have to really, really dedicate this interview as well to Anette, who was kind of our media manager at OMG back in April and still is. She does a wonderful job, and she helped me so much when it came to figuring out what was to go into kind of music playlists and what I should be listening to and who I should be looking at. And without Annette, I wouldn't have found NANO BEY. I was very early on, didn't really know what to look for, didn't really know what artists to be finding. And Annette, who is also from Norway, had spotted NANO BEY, this Norwegian artist, and it's just wonderful. I think it was Nikki Bruman in her interview with me who mentioned that some of the best music is coming out of Norway, and you can really, really see why, because it's all so good. It's just brilliant. It's all so brilliant. So yeah, I'm really excited for you to hear this interview. There's so much to explore with NANO BEY and just so much to come. She's just dropped her album Shut the Noise Out, which is it's like a ride. It's a ride of an album because there's so much going into it, so much packed in, and yeah, she's just a joy. She's just wonderful. Such an exciting young artist, really, really early on, and who knows what the future holds for NANO BEY. I think it's going to be a great one. But yeah, for now, really, really enjoy the interview. It's a brilliant one.
No, you okay?
Hello, yes, I'm fine. How are you?
Oh, it's so good to see you. It's so good to see you. You're gonna have to take me with a bit of pinch of salt today because I'm really, really suffering from hay fever up in here. So if I start coughing, if I look like I'm crying, it's nothing to do with the interview. It is straight up just that and the pollen and everything. I've got my tablet somewhere here. Here we go. So I'm a little bit prepared. You know what I mean? So yeah, just if I start dying over the call and if I sound a bit raspy, you know what's going on.
No worries at all. I have the same problem actually, but I escaped to the north of Norway, so I'm fine for now.
That's it. Oh, I'm about that. I mean, how are you doing? How's your day been going so far?
I'm doing great actually. Just finished my university, so I'm officially music practitioner and
Brilliant.
everything. Yes.
Oh, Nano, you should be so proud. That's amazing. I'm literally about that. That is a big achievement. That's really good. And did you mention that you're in Norway now? Are you in where are you there?
Yes. So I live in Oslo. But my family is from the north of Norway, so like right at the top where the map ends.
Brilliant. Oh my God, that is so cool. That is really, really cool. It's a time difference though. That might sound a bit stupid. I don't know. I don't know my geography.
Yes, it's 1 hour though, so
Oh,
it's
not so bad. That's
yeah,
not so bad. I'm not keeping you up or anything.
absolutely not.
That's good. I mean, I'm ready to start whenever you are. I'm just gonna hit you with
Yes,
some questions. Yeah, brilliant. That's
go
bad.
ahead. Yeah.
I mean, let's start right at the very, very, very beginning. So you were born in Norway. Did you spend a lot of time there? Because obviously you've moved about a lot, over time. Did you grow up there? How was your kind of like upbringing there?
Yes. So I was born in Oslo. My entire family is from the north of Norway, and I have indigenous roots. And then as I became a teenager, I just wanted to escape my little village and explore the world. And so I moved to Tokyo for a year to study Japanese language and culture. And then when I came back, I felt like the distance was a bit too far away for me. And so I wanted to pursue music. And so I moved to London and did my bachelor's there with 1 year in Berlin as well. So yeah, I've been in quite a lot of countries and experienced yeah, a lot of languages as well. But yeah, I do like Oslo, where I'm at right now. And but I definitely would like to go back to the UK at some point.
That is amazing. That
Yeah.
is so amazing. It's so cool, like sitting here listening to that because I literally haven't been anywhere. I've never done anything like I don't think I've been out of the country. You know what I mean? So like, it's so cool, like to hear that you've got like all those like different influences. I don't know. I'm quite boring, so I'm just sitting here and I'm really, really easily impressed. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh my God, that is amazing. I mean, like, what's like your favorite place? If you had to pick a favorite place, where would that be?
Oh, my favorite place. You know what? I always feel at home wherever I am. And for me, that has been super important to always bring that feeling and sense of home. Otherwise, I would just feel lost whenever I travel or whenever I go somewhere. And somehow I ended up with this habit of not traveling places, just moving places. But I feel just as home in my tiny cabin in the middle of nowhere in the mountains here that my family own, as well as in like the middle of Shibuya or in London or wherever. So yeah, I would say all of the places I've been so far have been my favorite places.
That is so good to hear. And it's so cool to think that you're so easily like adaptable to all these different places. You know, you can get there and you can fit in. I don't know what they'd think of me in Norway. I don't think I'd, I don't think I'd fit. I don't think I'd fit in
Love you.
Tokyo. I don't know what they'd think of me in there. Um, yeah, I think they'd think I'd be a bit crazy. But you know, it's a very hard thing to do and it's a very underrated thing to do. And it's something that you should be really, really proud of because, you know, not a lot of people can do it because, you know, just how difficult it is. It is a difficult thing to be doing, you know, moving around. But it gives you such a wealth of knowledge, especially in terms of your music and the music that you're creating and the influences that are going into it. And in terms of like the music industry, how has the music industry been for you? Has it been everything that you were like expecting it to be?
Um, for me, it's been a bit of a journey actually, because back in the day when I was trying to learn music and I started up, uh, my background was drums, so I was essentially playing drums in a tiny rock band here in the north. But I wanted to be more like hands-on, and I wanted to have a better communication with the audience. And I figured out doing the vocals was something that really spoke to me. And as I was already writing songs and I was already writing stories, and I always wanted a connection and to be very real. And I feel like I can showcase that on stage, completely different from what I do in my private life, and also in my life where I have like friends and families and all of my relations, and also of course different cultures have different perceptions of people, and just to be aware and accepting of all of this has been definitely something that helped me uh, through my years of studies, but also in my art, and that I just started releasing music again. And because I do have indigenous roots, that has also kind of been a bit of a boost for me personally, because there has been a story of assimilation and like this darker past that I think all of the indigenous people around the world have experienced at some point in time. But also I'm very white, so I don't really get that like racist card, but we do here in Norway, and it can be quite brutal sometimes. So I just feel like I can connect to a lot of people, even though they might not know it like straight off the bat. But it definitely helped me through understanding different people. And you do definitely meet a lot of different kinds of people in the industry, trying to find a band or speaking with industry professionals. Due to my indigenous roots, I was able to feature in a TV documentary that was running in all of Scandinavia back in 2020. And it was like, it was a nice way to showcase different sides of who I am as a person. I don't see myself as someone who is like fighting for indigenous rights or anything, or anything else. I just want everyone to feel like we can connect through music, and it doesn't have to be any other reason. It's not about race. It's not about the inequality. It's just enjoying music because that's something everybody shares. So yeah, my meeting with different people in the industry have been interesting because of all of these things. But I feel like I'm an open person, so I think I can connect with everyone who is needed. And yeah, now I'm working towards doing more and more gigs and playing live, and yeah, this kind of stuff, and also releasing.
I mean, like, definitely, it's such good stuff to hear. And your music is very, very like cross-cultural. Like, I mean, even here in Stoke-on-Trent in the UK, it's still really, really powerful music and really, really relevant music to us. That's relatable. You know what I mean? And yeah, I mean, I love getting to talk to people from all different places all around the world, and kind of like admin person for the station. She's called Anette, and Annette was the one who introduced me to you because she's from Norway, and she was like, "Oh, Ross, will you check out this Norwegian singer?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, you know, of course I will." And I looked through, and I was like, "Oh, this music is amazing. You know, I really, really need to kind of reach out and you know, try and get her involved with the station." And I'm so glad that I did, because there's so much that as you said, goes behind your music, and it's so interesting to like have the opportunity to chat to you, someone that is, you know, not that far away. I mean, Norway isn't too far away. It's only like, you know, a little bit up the top to the right, you know what I mean? It's not too far away at all, but it's such, there's a difference, do you know what I mean? But it's good to, you know, be able to sit here and explore that and talk about it, and you know, relate. And you know, because it's something that we wouldn't really think to do. Do you know what I mean? I, I
Yeah,
I interviewed like a German band not so long ago, and I told them, I said to them, you know, the music, we in the UK we don't really get to hear music from other cultures so much in the charts, or just genuinely what we're listening to. And it's a shame. It's only really around, like, I know this sounds a bit, you know, but it's only really around Eurovision time that we get exposed to it, and then we're like, "Oh my God, this music's really good." And then the rest of the year we're kind of, it just fizzles out for some reason. I haven't really got a clue why, because the music is really strong on its own. It's really good stuff.
yeah, I completely agree. I felt kind of the same when I lived in the UK as well. But at the same time, I feel like it's time to look other places as well, because there's a lot of sounds and a lot of soundscapes that hasn't been in the charts but might be interesting for people to experience. Um, I like making stuff that is first off relatable and can, yeah, make people feel something. um, and a lot of the stories that I bring in is from my family's background. Like even the Ghosty song, the first song that I released this year, was about first of all ghosting. That is like a very current thing that is happening right now. and I think people our generation really can like connect with and have some experience with, or they know someone who has experience with this. But also my great grandmother had the same kind of experience when she was like standing close to the river, deciding whether or not to end her own life due to this kind of ghosting story that she experienced with a person she was supposed to marry but didn't want to anyway. So it's very real. It's the same kind of things happening over and over again, but it's just renewing these kind of like powerful stories. And in my family, we're all very inspired by this person that we have the story with, and it's something that is like, yeah, we have a lot of female empowerment here, that we need to use this somehow. And this song just came to mind, and I was like, actually, you know what, this is something that happens now as well. Why don't we just get inspired by this and use it now? And I think that's why it connects, because a lot of stuff, not only from me but from other artists as well, is something that everyone would like to hear. And also now we have TikTok and we have Reels and we have a lot of online content, so it's easy to search up new stuff compared to what's just in the charts. And a lot of artists that people might never have heard of have like 100 million streams, and they come from, I would say, like a random country, but you know, it could be from anywhere, and you wouldn't know that it's from another country because you just relate so much to the song.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't agree more. Honestly, I couldn't agree more. And it's about having that connection with your audience, no matter where they are, And I think that that's where music is kind of going nowadays. It's definitely changing and evolving in terms of the industry, because it's, as you say, the artists are there and the fans are there, but maybe they're not represented in the charts. Maybe the charts aren't a true reflection of what is actually happening down, on the ground, and, reflecting in those streams. And it's like you say, you've got TikTok and social media as well. Has that been okay for you, like navigating, and has that been kind of a challenge? Because obviously it's hard to adjust to all the changes with, TikTok becoming more relevant in terms of music and what's popular. Has that, as an artist, been difficult for you to kind of like navigate?
Um, some parts yes, some parts no. Obviously, suddenly having an entire new platform to communicate through has been an eye opener, I think, for everybody. And also trying to stay current and understanding trends and understanding how everything works, and also understanding how to utilize it in the best possible way, has been interesting for me, because usually um, my I would say the areas that I focus the most on, I think a lot of artists also can relate, is the music itself. So then suddenly trying to promote it on other platforms. Instagram has been with us for such a long time that everybody kind of knows how to use it. I would say the same with Facebook. However, um, due to trends of it not being popular enough, or it's a dead um, app from what everyone uses now. It's simply not true, because the status the stats are there that it's definitely something to not sleep upon, and just trying to be current on every single platform that you want to use. I also use some Japanese apps, because I speak Japanese and I have friends and family in Japan that also try to follow along the journey, and then don't necessarily use like TikTok or Facebook. So I would have to communicate through other kinds of platforms. And I think um, being aware what kind of platforms you want to use as well. For me, it's no use using TikTok if I don't want to perform in a country that uses TikTok. Uh, but of course, I would like to play like in the UK. I would like to travel around in Europe, where it's definitely very much current, but it's not as current in um, other countries. And just understanding where your audience is really. Um, for me, I spent a lot of time this past year trying to learn and trying to figure out all the details around my artist persona, which is NANO BEY. and the reason behind why I use all of the social medias that I do. Um, and for me, it should be a reason why. Also, I like TikTok, so I'm using TikTok. I'm still trying to figure a little bit out what kind of content I want to put out, because I don't want to put out just because it's a trend. I want to showcase something that really showcases me as NANO BEY. Same with Instagram and also through my website. And I do use Twitter sometimes, but it's a bit of a mess sometimes to keep track of all the apps. But yeah, I hope, hopefully now that I'm building a team as well, we can work on it a bit better and a bit more. And I think other new artists also shouldn't be afraid to ask friends and family to help out. Um, I also have my sister. She helps me out with, for instance, posting on Twitter whenever I need, so that I don't have to follow along on every single platform. It's easier for me to answer something that has been put out, although we all agree on what is put out. And I think just asking friends and families for a little bit of help always makes it so much easier to both communicate to the audience and also doing it correctly without being stressed out and losing the attention span.
Definitely. I mean, it's really, really hard to keep track of everything, and it is really difficult. You have to allocate a lot of time to this stuff, especially like on a technological side, which I didn't really realize, even on my side as well, from my point of view, it's so difficult keeping up with everything and tracking everything and all the apps, and it's about your persona as well online, and it's something that you do really, really well as well. And that's something I wanted to talk to you about, your art, and how artistic that your posts are, and well put together, and like the artwork for the singles as well. It really, really just flows and matches the music so well. And you look completely different in every single thing that you put up, you know what I mean? And that is so wonderful, because it shows that evolution and the reinvention, and that you're capable and can do anything. How has that been for you? Is that something that's important to you? Definitely, like, portraying that artwork.
Yes, it's very important for me. I grew up in a very creative family. My mother is an artist and has always been a contemporary artist for big installations and showcasing other people's artwork as well. And we ran like an art festival for like 5 years straight in my hometown. So we've always been very like um, focused on showcasing, like, okay, I'm releasing a song. But it's not just for my project, but for all creative projects that I've been participating in. It's not just about the song itself, because there's so much more that can amplify the meaning of the song. And I think for everyone who perceives the song, they have different perceptions of what it means to them, which is lovely. I love that idea, and I love that everyone can make it their own. And for me to showcase more about what the song means to me, and also, as you say, the evolution, and I love being able to express myself in different ways, but also keeping it very. It doesn't have to be artsy, but I want it to be something that is NANO BEY and something that makes sense. And I'm very conscious about the use of colors or settings or concepts, and I love being able to change with every release. I'm working towards a album release, so that's going to be an entirely new thing as well, and I enjoy the creative aspects of everything, and all of the photos pretty much that has been in my social medias and websites and everything so far has been done by me myself. Uh, and the photo shoots and everything is from my point of where I'm right now. Oh my goodness, English is not doing it for me today. From where I am right now, I do pretty much everything myself. And now that I'm expanding and doing more creative stuff, I do want to work with a team that can help me make my ideas come more into to life and are beyond what I'm imagining that I can do right now. But yeah, I really enjoy being hands-on and have something to say in every single piece because it amplifies the stories and it amplifies what I want to show, and also it's cool.
Exactly, exactly. And I mean, I couldn't have put it better myself. No, seriously. And I mean, it's like, from my point of view as well, I love exploring the art of the artists. You know, when I do these interviews, I really, in terms of the promotion, everything that goes into creating it, I really love just sitting down and being able to fully explore it and kind of like get into that world. And when I first saw you, I was like, oh my God, there's so much to explore here. It'd be amazing, you know what I mean, to sit down and do an interview, and then on the flip side of the interview, work on all the promotion and work and really get to showcase and kind of explore the art side and showcase it. It's something that I really enjoy doing. But I find it interesting that you said that you do everything by yourself, because I'm in a similar position as well. And I think when you're in that position, you really get to put everything, that's in your head, you know, onto what you're creating, and really is your artistic vision, and it really is your creativity fully coming out. But it also does help to have a team on the flip side of that, to kind of make sure that it is fully seen. Do you know what I mean? Fully seen. And have you ever been in a position where that you've had to kind of like compromise a creative vision? Has something stopped you exploring something as much as you wanted to?
Oh yeah, several times, all the time. I have two life mottos that I go by every single day, and it really helps. And the first one is don't be precious. So as really, like I have ideas and I have things, and I'm a perfectionist. I want it to be exactly how I envision it, but at the same time, that's not doable in the real world a lot of the times. And the second one is kill your darlings, which is exactly what it says. Like I have ideas. Sometimes that get scrapped because other people have other ideas as well. And working in a team and working with other people is such an important part of being an artist. Just by being in a band, for instance, there are so many decisions going on all the time that sometimes you just to move forward, you have to um, be aware what other people are saying as well, because their opinion matters as well. And this happened a lot when I was in a London-based pop band, and we were working with me from the Arctic, and the other vocalist was from Madeira. So we had completely different mindset and where we grew up and everything in colors, and yeah, all the decisions that had to be done was um, it could be a bit challenging at times, and we would usually find some common middle ground. This past year, I was working and starting up a record label in Oslo, and it was a part of the music business course that I was doing there, and creating a record label is a lot of work, and also signing an artist and helping them create their own artist persona as well when they have ideas and everything. So it's important to think about what other people think as well. But since I'm working by myself on my own project, I can pretty much do everything. But I do always send my stuff to my family and friends and be like, can you check this out? Are the lines correct here? Or does this look good as a picture? Because there's few guidelines within every type of art to make the art have some sort of professionalism to it, but also um, to showcase to other artists that art, because that's essentially what the artwork is. It's obviously lovely for people to see and to show my vision and create like a wow aspect, but it's also for other artists to see, oh, she is professional, she knows what she's doing, and this is a great picture because the quality of the picture is great, not necessarily like HD quality, but the quality of the creation itself is amazing, and that's what I strive for every time.
Yeah. And I mean, I absolutely love those phrases, because they are just sound advice as well. and they're literally brilliant. Probably the best thing that I'll hear today, because I really, really relate. And on the flip side of that as well, it can be quite difficult to stay motivated and stay in that creative zone, especially when you don't switch off and you're constantly thinking about ideas and things that can be going into either the artwork or the music. How do you stay motivated, Nano? How do you keep that mindset going?
So I worked so many years for other people and helping other people with their own projects. And every time I felt like I wanted to quit, I was reminded that I don't want to do anything else with my life. I always want to stay creative and have the option of being creative, standing on a stage and just showcasing stories. I love standing on stage because you own the room in a different kind of way than you do from being in the audience. Obviously, the audience is what what drives me being an artist, but I also uh, like the motivation is really just because it's fun. That's the biggest motivation. It's really just because it's fun, and I want to do something fun with my life, and I want to have that ikigai thing where you have something that makes you want to wake up in the morning and get on today. And for me, that is being in this creative side of the industry and creating songs, singing songs and performing them, which is yeah, essentially why I do what I do because I love it. That's my main motivation.
I mean, that's great to hear. That is so, so good to hear. And you briefly then just touched upon, performing live. And on the flip side, that's another aspect of the music that you've got to be thinking about. How has that been for you? Have you had like a favorite performance so far?
Yes, I did one headliner performance as part of a tour with a good friend of mine from Poland, and she was doing this European tour, and she asked me to do a joint headliner gig in Oslo, which was the first NANO BEY gig that I ever did. And we only had 3 days to rehearse the songs, which was quite interesting. Um, but it went well. It really did. It all came together at the end, and I think just like the nerves and the pressure of having like the first gig um, in this kind of setting, it was quite a big crowd. It was something that made me realize like, oh, I want to do this more. I want to do this forever. So that really, I think I would say that was my favorite performance, just because it just made me hungry for more. And I always look back to that one, and even though it wasn't perfect by a mile, even, but it's something precious still.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's about the connection with your crowd as well. And it's wonderful for that self-reflection when you're on the stage and you can see the reaction that the crowd are having to the music. And it's just, I don't know. There's just something about it, and the buzz that it gives you. And again, it goes towards that motivation of, carrying that forward and carrying on with what you're creating, and it, inspires you. And your music is very, very, very inspiring, especially like Power. It really, really powers you through it. No pun intended. It really powers you through, and it is really, it's just so inspiring. It's a great jam to listen to. But you've been doing it for a quite a short amount of time, really, in terms of like single releases. What would you say that your proudest moment has been so far?
I think my proudest moment, it was quite recently actually. It was about last week. So I released Power in the beginning of May, because I wanted to release a song in two versions that also included some clan language, which is another type of indigenous people in the north of Norway, because there is no pop music with that language in that exists, which was quite infuriating to me because we obviously need to showcase more languages. But Power for me was a song that was kind of accidentally made. I was by the piano and I made the song. I made the chorus, and it was just stuck in my head for about 2 years, I think, before I wrote out the entire song with my guitarist. And then seeing the song ready and released, and that it got some press, and that people liked it, was very nice. But last week there was a newspaper page with the song, and they were reviewing the song. And my mother sent me a video of my grandfather reading it out loud. That made me cry. And he was so proud. And that is definitely my favorite moment so far.
Oh, Nana, that is amazing. That is so wonderful to hear. Oh my God, that is literally so wonderful to hear. And another interesting thing that you just said there, with the language as well. I mean, you're quite early on, like I say, with these releases, and you're already changing the game, and introducing your audience to new brand new things. You know what I mean? Like a new language, like in terms of like being showcased in music. It's just it's unreal. And if you're doing this so early on, what are you going to be doing in the future? It's wild to think about, and it's so exciting to think about. And I think the future for you is so exciting. You're such an exciting artist. And have you got anything lined up kind of like in the near future? Any dates that you want to mention? Maybe, another single or two, or like an album, as you said earlier. Is there anything
Yeah.
you kind of want to shout out?
Oh yeah, for sure. The 16th of June, I have a new single coming out, and it's more of a fun summer track. That I'm going to make a music video for it as well, but that will be a bit later, like around August. And then I have an album coming out on the 22nd of September, featuring some of the songs that you already heard, but also new stuff that is uh, gonna be featured on that album. Yeah.
That is amazing. That is amazing. I'm literally so excited. I can't wait to go back to Annette and just tell her how lovely you are. I mean, she'll see the interview, you know what I mean? But I can't wait to go back to the studios and be like, oh my God, Annette, thank you so much. I
Thank
legit
you.
can't wait. And yeah, I mean, Nano, you're literally just fabulous. I could literally talk here with you for hours on end. I have so many questions, but I'll probably sound like an idiot if I ask him, you know what I mean? Just because I'm probably not the brightest of all sparks in terms of geography and culture, but it's been so like eye-opening and just so lovely to kind of get into your world, even for just half an hour, and just talk to you, because you just have so much interesting things to say. It's crazy.
It's been wonderful to be asked to be here. That was such a nice thing, and I was very excited, and it's been such a lovely time. And yeah, I really appreciate it, because yeah, I'm starting up now, and I'm not ready to stop, and definitely just gonna continue releasing more music. And yeah, I really appreciate it.